I'm Boosted Luckey, 24, out of Dallas, Fort Worth area. My goal is to have the fastest street Hellcat, period. I don't care who else got it, I'm coming for it, and that's still my goal to this day. If I can help and show people what they can really do, I'm gonna do everything in my power to.
Welcome back to another episode of the Street Alpha Podcast. I'm your host, Tukes, and today we are in Texas. That's right. I flew all the way out to Dallas, Texas on a hot summer day. I mean, apparently it's not. This is a cold front, right? So to speak. But I said, you know what? This is a good interview. This is going to be a good guy to have on the podcast. A lot of you guys have been requesting him on the podcast, tagging him on all of Stefan Mods of Fame's clips. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Boosted Luckey today. Let's clap it up for Boosted Luckey. I'm gonna throw some little claps in there.
Oh God, no.
Yo, so I just wanted to say before we start, I really appreciate you actually taking this interview because I reached out to a lot of people, and a lot of people want to have certain people on the podcast, and little do they know how hard. Like it's hard to get people on the podcast.
It's hard to know choreograph, get that all together. The choreography of making all that stuff happen, making schedules line up, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but you were like, there was no issues.
Bro,
you'd be surprised. Honestly, I was like, you know what? The only reason I didn't reach out to you sooner is because I'm like, nah, he's up there, bro. He's not he's not gonna answer back probably, but you know what? It's worth a shot. And you literally. I think I saw that you were following me when I had
followed him off of Steps
interview. Steps video. So I was like, oh, okay,
and I was
so
this is legitimate guy. He's got some good people on here.
Appreciate
it's
it.
not just drama oriented.
Right.
And he was just like, yo, you want to do an interview or can you do an interview and stuff? And I was just like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That was literally it. I said, yeah,
yeah,
sure, I'm down. And he was like, okay, bet. And then, y'all flew down here, and here we are.
That's it. Yeah. As soon as you said that, I was like, nah, I have to go ASAP because I don't want to miss out on the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're busy as well. We have a lot to talk about also with what you have going on, a lot of stories. How I want to, basically go into your timeline is before before Boosted Luckey. So based on your YouTube, it looked like you were a football player.
Yeah,
right?
man.
Which is kind of crazy because I told my girl, I was like, he looks like he's stocky, like he plays sports or something like that. Not really sure, maybe football. And I was right.
Yeah,
I was right. And I was doing research. And I'm scrolling down, and I was like, let me see the oldest video, see how long he's been on YouTube. And about 6 years ago, you were posting clips. It was like a highlight clip of you running back. I'm like, yo, this guy running like he Barry Sanders. Like the way you was cutting up. Yo, I swear, have you ever gotten that before? Like the Barry Sanders kind of?
Nah, man. I just kind of. I didn't hear a lot on my style of play. It was just kind of like go out there, do what you can do, and make something happen. And with me and like the way that I came up, I thought football was just going to be I thought it was going to be everything for me and stuff.
Same.
So I put everything into that game, and eventually I started to recognize that it's supposed to be used as nothing more than a tool to get you to where you want to get to, right? So because at a certain point in time, that game is going to be done with you,
right?
And then what are you going to be left with?
That's 100% right.
I don't want to be just like everybody else who is like, oh man, I got to go to the league. Everybody has league dreams. Everybody has dreams of like putting their mom in like a bigger house,
right?
Big chain, fast cars, all that kind of stuff. But for me, it was more so like, where's the longevity and where am I going to be at after that?
Right.
Because one thing I did not want to be was a hometown hero. I didn't want to be like those guys who came out of my school who ended up being able to go to places and then now you don't hear about them.
Yeah.
Stuff. Guys in school who were supposed to be, way better than you, and then now you don't hear nothing about them. And as long as you're sticking on the path that is for you and something that is like goal oriented and stuff like that, and it's beneficial, then that's kind of what I wanted to do. And I saw certain opportunities. Growing up, I've always loved cars and stuff, and that's just kind of how I got to where I am. Plan A didn't work. Okay, switch it to Plan B and see where it goes from there. So I mean, with football, it took me very, very far. I'm the heaviest I've ever been right now.
Really? Same.
I'm
Same
5'9", 230 or 228, 230, like
You're
in that
230,
range.
bro?
Yeah. It's a lot of it's in my legs.
Bro, I'm 220,
Yeah.
220. But like
Yeah.
I don't know where, like I guess it's probably I got a belly.
Well, it just depends. You know, muscle translates into like different things. So like muscle's more dense than fat
Right.
is. So you know, you put on some more muscle, obviously you're gonna weigh a little bit more. Fat, same kind of concept. But you know, a lot of my stuff is just like spread throughout like everything. But my lower half,
Right.
you know, I'm like you said, pretty stocky dude. So that's kind of where I am. But in school, I was always only like 180, 200. Like once I started getting into my senior year, I started bridging the gap on like 180 and 200.
Yeah.
Ate a lot of peanut butter jelly sandwiches and some ramen noodles, man. And
Push-ups all day, huh?
yeah, trying to, man. And you know, like I said, after I used all those tools to get to where I wanted to get to, I kind of just let it go. I don't mind being how I am now. I love myself, love the life I've created, and just gonna try to keep on seeing what's next for me when it comes to that.
That's incredible, bro. I'm one of those people as well who played football my whole life, and I started dancing and so on. But I think from sports, you kind of learn like discipline and team, and you know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause I was a quarterback, so you kind of.
That's
look back
a big
and
leadership role.
It is.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize how that was going to affect me later on in life until now. So when you look back at that stuff, you kind of realize how much.
Now you calling your own plays. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Audible.
basically. 100%. So before we get to the next, I completely forgot. I kind of feel bad. We didn't shout out
Audio Zone. Shout out to my boy Jeff over here at Audio Zone in Irving, Texas.
Yes.
Any, you know, audio stuff, any body kit stuff, all that, you know, people see the carbon fiber on my car, they put that on. All the security system stuff for like, you know, cars and stuff, they put that on. Jeff is an amazing dude. I've known him for years now. That is like a second father figure to me. And when I say that guy, you know, I would do anything for him, man, I'll go to war with Jeff, you know. So him and I would be out there, iron sharpens iron. You see, you got this twin turbo Viper right here.
I know, man.
That thing ain't no joke, you know. It's fully built transmission, fully built motor. Finding every limit on every part. That's why it's sitting in here right now. But we're gonna get back out and, you know, run the car soon. And like I said, that guy right there will do anything for you if, you know, if the time calls for it. So he's a really good guy.
Shout out to my Puerto Rican brothers out there. He's also from
Puerto
New York
Rican too.
Super humble dude. So shout out to Audio Zone out here in Irving, Texas.
Yep.
So after football, right? You said you were into cars already, right?
So I was already into cars.
Okay.
Growing up, dude, it was like the standard games that everybody played: Need for Speed, Midnight Club.
Right, of course.
I had a plethora of Hot Wheels cars, and when it came to those, bro, I was tearing them things apart. You know how they were riveted in on the bottom side so that you couldn't change the wheels out, you know, swap all that stuff out. I tore them things up.
You made it work.
Man, I got a drill when I was a kid, put the bottoms off, put different wheels on there because, you know, a lot of the toys had those plastic wheels on there.
Yeah.
I wanted something to look more like a real kind of like miniature car. So as I would get cars, I would swap out the wheels and the parts and stuff like that and make it all work. And, you know, that's where the passion came from, you know, just there. Growing up, our father, you know, he was into cars and stuff, but he wasn't into it in the sense that we were, bro. Like this stuff that we're on now is a completely different level. And, you know, it's awesome to see how far we've come.
Right.
And, you know, making my name something more than what it has been in the past and stuff. So
you had the V6, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about that. Like, was that your first car that you were like, I don't want to say like, because we all have a car that we just want to get into, but did you get into that car because you eventually had the hope of getting to a Hellcat, or you just said, this is what's in my budget?
So after high school, right? So in high school, the first car, right, was I think it's a Ford Fiesta or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my mom, we have a single mother, right?
Yeah.
Love my mother to death. She's the reason why I'm able to do a lot of the things that I'm doing, and, you know, helped raise me into the man I am today. I would not be anything without her. And she is my rock, my everything. We butt heads a lot, like any mother would, because, you know, she wants the best for us.
Right.
And she doesn't understand the route sometimes. But at the end of the day, that's mom. Shout out to mom.
Nice.
And, you know, that's how we got to where we are today. We started out with the Ford Fiesta she had bought for my sister. Unfortunately, we got into an accident. Somebody in Plano over here, they don't know how to drive, ran the median.
Damn.
in the intersection. And then, I was coming home from football practice one day, and then he cut across. It was heavy traffic. People know how it is at 5 p.m. here in Dallas, and slammed right into him. It wasn't at fault. Obviously, it was his fault. Lost that car. My mom had a Ford Fusion. We rode in that thing like everywhere, and my mom was blessed enough to be able to get a Mercedes. I think it was like a CLA 250 or something like that.
Okay.
And she had that, and the Fusion became my car. First mod on the Fusion was like some plastic dip on the tail lights, bro.
Man.
I couldn't do too much to it, obviously, because it's a family car. I didn't have money. I'm in high school. I was working at like a little bounce house parlor or whatever, and that was that. When I had graduated from high school, I was blessed enough to be able to go play at a college football program. So I went to D2. I had some D1 interest, but my grades weren't there, and I was also trying to do my recruitment on my own. I went to Plano West, the high school out there. The coach was not pushing. It was just me. Right. So I did a lot of. I created my own highlight films. That stuff that you saw on there, that was all me cutting it all up, putting the music on there, putting myself in front of these coaches, going to camps. Shout out to my mom for taking me to some of these camps and stuff. And we were able to do that. Me getting into college, all the hard work, everything like that, she blessed me with the V6 Challenger.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So all I had to do was, take care of the insurance on it. Then it came down to making the payments and stuff like that.
Right.
And then, gas and everything else. At that point in time, that was my first car that I could do whatever I wanted to.
Yeah.
And boy, did we
you guys,
man,
that put you on the map, huh?
Yeah. So at first it was just bolt-ons. I knew about cars because I watched 1320 growing up. I watched Streetcar Takeover growing up, or not Streetcar Video, all these kind of, things that were going up around my time in high school, because cars, there was Z06s parked in front of my apartment that we stayed in at that point in time. And we were just blessed enough to finally get something to work on, and that's where all the knowledge started coming from, starting to look on forums, ask around, go hang out at your local car meets and stuff like that, see what everybody else is doing, the vibe. And it came down to a point where it was like, oh, you gotta have a V8. If you don't have a V8, you got a V6 muscle car. That ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? So I was really loyal to like the V6 stuff, because like I was telling you earlier before the interview, nobody can make me do anything that I don't want to do. And I mean that in the most respectful way that I can, because at the end of the day, I'm my own person. I'm going to make my own decisions. It's my money. It's not your build. It's not their build. It's what I want to do with the car. Right. I wanted to make a statement with the car. That car was going to be something that helped me wedge a name for myself in the game. Yeah. Not doing that off of somebody else's name. Not, trying to put others down. I did nothing but try to educate people on the platform that I was on, bring them along with me on the build, from working on the concrete floor during the Texas summers and the winters. Man, we got it done. Swapping out rear ends, axles, even pro charging the car. It was with a RIP supercharger. Yeah. So a centrifugal blower. Injectors, tuning. It was tuned by Demigod Tuning out there, and I can't remember where it is. It's south of the border. It's kind of near the valley and stuff like that.
Somewhere in Texas.
Yeah. Well, it's south of the. It's not south of the border, but South Texas, kind of in the valley area, right? So a lot of that stuff, helped mold me into what it is that I am today. A lot of the knowledge that came from that, a lot of the hard work and dedication, because when you stick with something and you do it for such a long time, you're not only going to learn, you're going to grow, and you're going to be able to have the knowledge and experience in order to make something more better come out of it. Exactly. And with that V6, it was a lot of the V8 guys talking trash on me, so I went and I was beating up on some of those cars, even Mopars and stuff like that. Jeff will tell you that V6 beat his brother's Hellcat.
Yeah, that's what he was saying earlier.
Yeah, man. When they were laying down 11s, we were 2 or 3 cars ahead. But I tell you what, I mean, the name of the game is, if you let me get out on you and you can't run me down, that's it. Yeah. That's the name of the game, especially with blower cars, Right. So that's kind of, where it all came. The V6, I started, like I said, my career with that. Did everything I could until the awful night where it, snapped the drive shaft and met its utter demise. And, from there, I flower blossomed, and here we are, you know, with the big Hellcat, big body.
So what made you want to pick up a camera and start recording the process or the journey with the V6?
So when it comes to that, right, I always saw a lot of these guys, you know, the Cletus McFarlanes, the, like you said, Adam LZ's. A really inspirational guy to me was that guy Marin. And I don't know if you know him, but he's an influencer who had started in Minnesota, moved all around to Florida and then to Houston. And when he made it to Houston, boy, did he light up. And seeing him film his progress and everything like that, seeing guys like Cletus and them, like, you know, when they started Leroy and, you know, others like 1320 Video and all that kind of stuff, like, you know, that was the world I wanted to be in. And I can say I'm in that world, you know, and it's a blessing. And I thank God for it every day. And all those guys helped pave the way for me to, you know, find my own flair, my own style to do it. And I wanted to show people with the V6 stuff that it's possible to beat up on the bigger trim cars. It's also possible for you to build something that you can enjoy and not have to worry about, you know, what everybody else is saying. The moment you start caring about what everybody else is saying and what they're doing, you lost your way.
You kind of get discouraged.
You know? So not a lot of people were doing stuff with the V6s at that point in time. There's maybe like one or two people, you know, there's a group dedicated to it on Facebook. And a lot of those guys banded together. They helped each other out. And, you know, from that point on, I started doing some really extreme stuff. I put 390 gears in the V6, you know, and, you know, got it tuned. And that thing was cutting, you know, 3 seconds, 0 to 60s on the street. So you asked Jeff how he lost that race to the V6. It was, that car was moving, bro. E85, everything.
So do you feel like a lot of that, because I was saying to my girl earlier, when we were eating, that a lot of people who are known now are mostly known, I don't want to say mostly, but a lot of the influence is built up from a car that people wouldn't expect to be fast.
Yes.
You know, so like a V6, like if you have a car, it's a car that is attainable. You can.
It has to be a good story.
Once you have a car like that and you're able to make it go fast, do something incredible with it, people start to look at the person who's doing it and say like, yo, you heard about, you know what I'm saying, you heard about Luckey's car, he's doing it. So it kind of inspires even the dude here earlier with his car. He said he watched you on YouTube.
There was a guy with the Hellcat here earlier, and you know, he was like, I watch you and my son watches you and all that kind of stuff. It's still weird to me to have a bunch of people come up and stuff like that. Like I said, we've only been doing this for what, maybe the Hellcat stuff for like 3 years now.
3 years.
So, you know, going on 3 years, you know, from the V6 and the Hellcat stuff, about 3 years in the game now. And the momentum, the community, people be saying like, people be D-riding and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You can't D-ride your mans. You support your mans.
No, 100%.
And a lot of people get upset that they're not getting that same kind of, you know, love and respect. But the thing is, they're not doing anything for the people that are supporting them, right? They're like, oh, you're supporting this guy who don't even acknowledge you. You're not putting anything out to help the people who are, you know, supporting you. You're trying to act like the big body of everybody, like a bully or something like that, and expecting people to just like, you know, people go viral off of like kind of anything nowadays, and then like they'll get a little platform and they'll get a big head or whatever, or they'll buy, or they'll buy, you know, followers and stuff like that, which I've seen people do.
Really common.
Really common. And I mean, you can tell any day of the week when someone's real and when they're fake. Go look at these guys' Instagrams. They got like what 2,000 something likes and
2,000 likes and one comment.
And guess what comment it is? It's that please subscribe, or hey, check out this app thing, you know,
or an emoji, or the same person commenting the same thing 5 times.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't take a lot of you know, offense to what a lot of people say when, you know, that kind of stuff comes around. So for me, it's just about being genuine. People can go back and look at the videos from the last 6 years or whatever. Look at how long I've had my Instagram account and the analytics behind that. I started that from scratch. All I wanted on Instagram was 10K. So that, because remember when they had the deal where you could like swipe up to like watch the video?
You could add links too.
I had finally been able to do that. And as soon as I did that, that's when Instagram was implementing the change for people to, you know, everybody can swipe up and do a link. So that'll tell you how far from that tells you exactly the point. When Instagram implemented that thing in there for you to, do that feature for everybody, that's when I hit 10K on Instagram. And then from there, bro, it done scaled. And it's a blessing every day.
It's so funny because a lot of people, like, when they have that kind of that one little goal in mind, when you get there, it's like,
what's next?
What's next? But it just keeps going, and you don't even realize how easy it was to get there. So if you can get to 10K, you can get to 50, you can get to 100, you can get to 200. So it's beautiful, like the journey when you're going through that stuff.
A lot of the stuff was just kind of like a byproduct of all the hard work and everything. You know, a lot of people will try to discredit you all the time, but one thing that they can't do is usually what you're doing, or do it in the same way. That you are. I think what sets me apart from a lot of people is the fact that I'm able to connect with the people on a different level than what others are. I'm not the fastest. I'm not the biggest. I'm not the most rich. You know what I'm saying? But I can relate to you more than somebody else can. And we can probably have a, really chill, logical kind of conversation without having to be at each other's necks about differences of opinions and stuff
egos.
like that. Or egos. Like I talk to you just like how I talk to anybody else. I dress just like how I dress any other day of the week. You've probably seen this hat on my head like every other video or something like that.
Same,
It's all consistent. It's all the same person, and I don't have to act any differently for anybody. Been through a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, I never let that change me. I internalized a lot of it. I turned it into something beautiful, and I just use it as motivation every day to try to keep pushing.
As you should, brother. As you should. You should. So you had an incident with the V6 that kind of, led into where you are now. Can you talk about that incident?
So I was coming home from work one day, right? There was a Fox body on the highway, little old Fox body, but this Fox body had a tire on it. Bro, I was just trying to get up close to it to look at it, but I guess maybe he heard the Pro Charger because the RIP Supercharger, because it had a had a decent sized blow valve on it. Tell me why this dude took off. I'm talking about was gone. I was like, hold on, bro, you're not finna just take off on me. You know what I'm saying? I just put the car on E85. I just had everything all situated, so the car was running. I ran that boy down in the V6, and after, I'll say, we got up to like 160 or something like that, and the drive shaft popped. Drive shaft, and that's happened in this car too. Drive shaft popped. I think it was maybe the drive, because it had 390 gears in it. I think it was like maybe the gear ratio in the rear just wasn't keeping up with the transmission or something like that. Something happened to where it got bound up and it snapped, or it was the pilot bearing in the center. Either way, it exploded and it cut the trans lines. Trans fluid is flammable. Got on the exhaust,
What?
And I had a gallon of water in the car, but by the time I realized that the car was on fire, I had pulled over to this gas station, and I look underneath, and there's like something yellow under the car. I'm like, hold on, bro.
At a gas station?
At a gas station.
That's scary.
Yeah, but the thing was that I didn't know the car was on fire. And I had no way to move it because the drive shaft has exploded, So it was just kind of like coasting. And so I finally, sit there and get the car to stop, look underneath, and it's a whole fire and everything. I didn't have a fire extinguisher. I didn't anticipate this at all. And I got the gallon of water. I was grabbing my camera, everything. And like I was pouring the water down the trans tunnel. You can't get to it because it's in the center, where the yoke for the drive shaft and everything else meets, and the car ultimately kind of caught fire. I was screaming for help, for firefighters, everybody, and by the time they got there, it was done.
So you literally watched your car?
I got it on video, bro. It was one of the most horrifying things that ever could have like happened, and I took that and all of that like anger and emotion and everything else like that, and I internalized it like how I do with every situation, and we came back with a Hellcat. And
that's awesome.
So I'm never gonna let a situation like that keep me down, or any kind of situation in general. I'll go through some stuff like anybody else. I'm a human just like anybody. At the end of the day, I bleed just like how everybody else bleeds. I sleep and wake up and put my shoes on the left and right foot like everybody else, and go to work. And I'm just gonna, always try to do my best to put one foot in front of another and see where life takes me. It's not over till it's over.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That is a fact.
Yeah.
So how many subs did you have? Like, did you already have a big following by the time that happened?
No, I had maybe like 6,000, 8,000 or something like that.
6,000 subs.
Yeah, so
okay.
I mean, like, that's still a pretty decent number and everything, but I'm just, a guy with, a little V6. Everybody kind of knew me on YouTube. I wasn't on Instagram heavy. I had just like, people from school, from football, and then people from high school, and then a little bit, on TikTok, but not anything like it is now.
That's crazy, because those videos actually have like a decent amount of views. So I think maybe back then people weren't really catching on to what was really going on yet until
people are seeing the story. And a lot of people think that this is a V6 swapped into a Hellcat, and it's not. It's a VIN Hellcat. People kept trying to call me broke, this, that, and the third. Oh, you took a V6, and now I am with the white car, which we call Captain Insano. But this is a real Hellcat.
So how did you so how long were you without a car before you got the Hellcat?
About a week.
A week.
Because we were trying to get a Hellcat and a V6 at the same time, but that happened.
So it was like perfect. It wasn't perfect timing. I don't want to say that.
Yeah, not perfect timing at all.
Yeah, it was just like you were already preparing to get a Hellcat.
Exactly. Okay. So I mean, like, it wasn't like we were, in a hole. We were, doing pretty well, and the V6 kind of just like took care of itself. My mom helped me out with some of it, and I of course repaid her for all that. And it was an opportunity we couldn't miss out on, and I pay for every penny that goes into this car, and that's kind of how we got here.
That's dope that you say your mom helped you out with that, because
she signed that cosign paper.
Yeah, most people aren't going to be honest about. I mean, I don't want to say most people, but people aren't going to really say that their mom, and it's okay. Sometimes you need help. Sometimes life happens.
But I mean, I was at the time when we were getting the Hellcat, I was 22. I didn't have a bunch of.
And you're young too. That's another thing. Like, you're 20. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's I
had just turned. I was about to turn 22.
Yeah.
Or had just turned 22. I was still in school.
Right. That's crazy.
I'm working at freaking Home Depot. Trying to build a damn V6. I think by this time I had moved into my big boy job and stuff also, but I didn't have a whole lot of credit, a lot of credit history. But every modification, everything that has gone into this car, building it, everything from that, people can try to say something all day long.
Right.
I could go do it 2 more times if I really wanted to, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we're a family, and we're going to always uplift each other and try to help us get to the next level. As she levels up, I level up, he levels up. My sisters all level up. We're all we got, you know. So
that's dope.
Nothing was handed to me. I still, like I said, had to pay for everything.
Pay everything back. Yeah.
So nothing was free. Nobody can sit here and say that she paid for any of this stuff.
Yeah.
But anytime there's some hardships and stuff like that, my mom's gonna be there to push me up.
That's dope.
That's beautiful to me.
Shout out to moms.
Shout out to moms
on that one.
Yeah.
So how much was this car?
So when we got this one, it was $6,250, and this was around when COVID was going around.
What year was it?
It's in 18.
18.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I didn't even know. Don't go at me in the comments for this. But I didn't even know they make an all-wheel drive of these cars. An all-wheel drive version
of the V6s.
Yeah, but like, who is the people build
up north? So the Charge, yes, some people do actually.
Really?
For the V6s, and that's what I was saying. It's a different kind of market. It's a different, style of people who want to do that. They're not trying to do it to sound like a V8. They're not trying to do it to, beat a V8 ass or anything like that. They're just trying to build their car. They enjoy it. It's what they like. It being up north, some people need all-wheel drive. There's even cop cars that people will go and take of this, and because they're all-wheel drive, the Hemis, and they'll do stuff with that. Goon Squad, those guys. I don't know if you heard of them. They did that with a V8 cop car. And others, take components from that to make other builds and stuff. But there's a few. Yeah, so
I didn't know that. I didn't mean this car. I mean like the Challenger body
style. But the cars in general. Yeah,
that's crazy. When it comes to this car, right? Does it change in terms of like pricing when you start modding it as opposed to a V6, or it's basically the same stuff?
So with the V6, everything is relative, right?
Okay.
So whatever we're comparing it to, it depends on the market for it and what's available. Same thing with kind of like newer style cars, when those come out, you know, what's available to it.
Yeah.
Things haven't been manufactured that much for it because the market isn't there for it yet.
Right.
Meaning that sometimes manufacturers haven't had the opportunity to make the parts. There's a market for the V6 industry and stuff like that, but it is a small one in a sense. So the parts are more expensive. To build a V6 motor is probably going to be just about the same as building like a 5.7 motor,
right? Because
of the fact that, you know, supply and demand, you know. But when it comes to Hemi stuff, dog, like I was telling you earlier, it is ridiculous, like how expensive it is.
Just because of the Hemi.
Just because it's a Hemi, you won't get that Mopar tax,
right?
Let alone like Mopar tax on a Hellcat, bro. It's stupid. Let alone Mopar tax on like a Viper. So like a Viper, like a high performance car, on top of it being a Mopar,
right? It's like a GTR tax.
Yeah. GTRs, don't even get me started on them, bro. Them things, they'll break your pockets till you ain't got nothing left. Yeah,
that's the only thing that's turning me off from that car is how much it costs.
I love GTRs, dog, but it's just dope. Like with GTRs, right? They're an amazing car. They're fast, right? In comparison to like, you know, from stock form to like fully built, like, yeah, it's a ridiculous scale.
It's crazy.
But you see it's broken up into two parts, right? You got the guys who are like bolt-ons, upgraded turbos, and like, you know, stuff like that, having fun at like, you know, 950 or 850 wheel. Then you got the 1300 wheel horsepower guys that are making 1700 secretly, sometimes even 2000, like Dan Rue.
That's insane. Yeah. He's making some power.
So and you know, I got mentioned on here a few times and stuff like that, you know, not only with, you know, the whole Dan thing, but also with Mod. Dan can race me any day out of the week.
I don't think that Stefan, I don't think he called you out. I think
no, not called me out.
Dan Rue said he would. Dan Rue said he wanted to race you, but it wasn't any type of. Like,
no, I know. You know? Yeah. Dan can get it any day of the week at the track, but at the track, because guess what? It's an all-wheel drive car on the street, 2,000 horsepower, bro. Like, I'm not on an aftermarket computer. The big difference between a lot of these GTRs and Mopars and stuff like that, right, and other cars, in retrospect to what he was saying in his interview. The market isn't necessarily there as far as aftermarket ECUs with sophisticated traction control on the same level as, in my opinion, the Motex for an all-wheel drive car.
Right.
Vipers, they have crazy aero. Of course, they're going to get there. They're a lot lighter. This is an American muscle car. The Challengers and Chargers are probably one of the only American muscle cars that aren't trying to act like a sports car. We're not trying to be a Camaro handling around the track, but still weighing 3,800 pounds. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to be a Mustang, you know, that is like a Swiss Army knife that can do whatever and is already a lot lighter than what this car is. You got to everything is relative in what you compare it to. Right. So with the GTRs and stuff like that, man, the barrier to entry is already like 70 grand. And it's one of the cheapest supercars that you can get to build. Yeah. People don't buy GTRs and keep them stock most of the time, which was a valid point that he had made. Yeah. But there are some out there. But, you know, like I said, most of them don't. Yeah. When you start building them, much like how Dan has, and the reason why he don't want to race it at the track is because he blew that transmission. He ain't gonna he don't want to face that bill again.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like two different categories for GTRs. There's like the bolt-ons and upgraded turbos, right? And then there's fully built. You never see in between because they don't exist, right? You know what I'm saying? After a certain scale, you know what I'm saying, you got to have money to play. And them transmissions are what, 27,000 sometimes to build them. Yeah. And if you don't have a core, bro, hang it up. Like I don't even want to think about none of that. You know what I'm saying?
These transmissions are rated pretty high though, right?
Yeah. So the 8HP 90 is what is in the Dodge Challenger. Right. You can get them built. Mine is built by Simple Speed and Performance. Badass transmission. I daily drive this car. It's good whenever it's time to go out there and hit it.
I'm sorry.
I daily drive.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but
I daily drive a 1,000+ wheel horsepower car whenever I please. Yeah. Still has AC. Still has, I got the passenger seat with the with a heated and cooled, interior and all that kind of stuff. Heated and cool steering wheel, AC, sound system, still got my subs in the back, everything. I ride around on the drag pack because if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready, but this car, and with it being me, I find the limit of everything. Yeah. So, I got to get a new drive shaft and new axles and all sort of kind of little stuff just to be able to, put the power down and make it last. So, yeah.
So how do you, so what I don't understand about it is that this, guys, it's hot out here, right? And this is a cold front, like I said earlier.
I like this part.
Right? So what I don't understand is, so he's driving around, this is daily driven, right? Mm-hmm. He's driving around on these tires, right? You drive like this every day?
It depends, right? So if I don't want to scrape on anything, if I know I'm going to be in something or the weather is it's going to be rainy, I'll put the stocks on, Right. But any other time, nah, bro, you can catch me on this. And if not on this full thing, then the rears are definitely always on.
So what I don't understand is with this heat out here, right? Because I'm thinking damn, okay, you're street racing.
Yeah.
And as you stated earlier, prior to the podcast, that you go outside and it's still 110 degrees.
At night.
At nighttime.
Not 110, just like 100.
Well, to me, 90. It's 110. Sorry, from New York, that's 110.
Yeah, this boy was sweating before.
Yeah, it's hot. I'm telling you, it's hot out here.
Yeah.
But the first thing I'm thinking, I'm like, damn, I would not. My car would run like shit in this weather. So, what are you doing to, combat the heat and make sure your car is running, especially 1,000 horsepower, bro? I stood next to your car when you turned it off, and I was like, yo, the heat is crazy.
Yeah. So, what I will say is that we're not really doing anything necessarily special in the terms of parts that we're putting on here. We obviously have an expansion tank, ice tank, if you will, to keep the blower cold. Yeah, in the trunk. Okay. As opposed to it being in the engine bay, so that the intake air charge is a lot cooler.
Okay.
But that stuff still gets hot right away.
Right.
As soon as I throw ice off in there, that joint gone. So the only way to really combat that is if you have an air to water setup is to use an AC chiller system in order to keep the intake temps manageable.
Right.
With it being so hot out here, you can get them down pretty low. But once you're out there, driving and racing, the heat has to translate into something.
Yeah,
it's going to heat up that water temp, and then you'll start losing power. After a certain temperature, it's going to start pulling timing and power.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so how I haven't. Well, you just make a shit ton of power. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's crazy. I think that would be the answer to the problem.
Yeah, make more power. I should have just said that. For me. The way that you combat heat in Texas versus everywhere else and run the same times that all these guys are running, make more power.
What? That is crazy.
Make more power. I'm out here running these same guys' times that are bragging and boasting about it being negative DA, density altitude, or really cold outside, or kind of cool outside, and everything just being kind of the stars aligned. I call them hero runs. That's what I call them. When your DA is super low or at 0 and the weather is 48, that ain't a realistic time, dog. Come on.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
I want to see what you really run when it's 85, 80 outside and 2000 DA. If you can run a 3 second 60 to 130 when it's 80, 90 degrees outside and 3000, 2000 DA, that's a fast ass car, bro. That's fast. If you can run it in the 4s, that's still, really, really fast and everything. But all these guys that are flexing, they're 3 seconds, they're 4 seconds, are in what? Cold ass weather and negative DA.
So
I'm doing that in a 4,400 pound car.
Yeah, also, this car's heavy. It's a tank.
Yeah, it's a boat. Boat boys.
So that was what we spoke about earlier on TikTok. You were mentioning DA and all these. So I know, the first thing I do is let me see if anybody understands what he's talking about. So I go to the comments and the people are just you got fans. There's some people are I don't even know what you said, man, but I just fuck with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So can you explain how you can even determine DA and all these numbers?
So a lot of the times people use draggies, right? So draggies is a good device that people use to gauge how quick a car is and everything, right? So with that, numbers help tell you how fast a car is anyway.
Right.
The draggy is density altitude, which was created by a lot of aviation people or the aviation industry to help let pilots know how their airplanes would do in certain air temperature.
Okay.
And it's based off of calculation, you know, the water grains, all that kind of stuff, you know, all that plays into, you know, that number.
Right.
And the higher DA that you have, the less, you know, performance your car is going to have in that air. It's not able to breathe as efficiently. It's going to not make as much power, let alone the heat, you know? So as the hotter it is outside, the more stress is going to be on the motor, the less oxygen molecules are probably going to be in the air, you know, colder, denser air is more oxygen packed in there. Hotter air is going to, you know, it's moving a lot more. It's a lot more, you know, on an atomic structure. It's a lot more movement.
So is it elevation, or it's just like air
elevation? So elevation can also affect that also. That's what I'm saying. It's a calculation. Okay. And on the Draggy, it'll tell you, you know, what your elevation is. Right. Also what your density altitude is, and what the temperature is outside relative to everything. And a lot of people will post this up on like Facebook groups, Instagram, everything like that, to just, you know, give comparisons. You know, you see somebody run a really fast time, that, you know, not to mess with that guy until you got enough, or like whatever. And a lot of people call that draggy racing. Yeah. Instead of going out there and actually racing where anything can happen, they'll rather go out there and do that. So like, I was a victim of that too when I raced that Plaid, right? I was draggy racing. This car in the heat is running faster than when a Tesla Plaid is. So I was like, okay, like, really cool. Yes. So based off of numbers, this car was going to smoke that Plaid. But if anybody goes and looks at the video, you can see the 11s all the way down the highway. And like I was telling you earlier, I haven't been able to run my car with it being at its full power, with ice being in there right away, because it melts, intake charge gets super hot. As soon as we finally put ice off in there, bro, it just blew the tires off. And I should have known better. But we went out there casually. I was still full interior, everything like that. This Plaid is on smaller rims, so it's gonna, you know, allow it to accelerate a little bit quicker, smaller diameter wheel. And it was fully gutted.
Oh damn.
Yeah, so it wasn't no regular Plaid. Everybody thinks that. Yeah. So not only is it running just a little bit faster than what a regular Plaid is, it's not a stock Plaid. You know what I'm saying?
He got some stuff going on.
Yeah. So and in the times that we had ran prior to going out there, we knew we had it easy. Right. But I got cocky, which I never liked to do. Yeah. But I did, because, you know, I was like, man, I just got my car back. It's a Tesla Plaid. It's gonna be easy. Nope. Yeah. So and it is what it is. But we're gonna get them back. We got, you know, things refined on the car. Hopefully some better traction, because we were on pretty ball tires and it was a fresh new build kind of, you know, setup. And the car is still not even turned all the way up. This thing is on 17.5 degrees of timing and only making like 230 kPa, which if you subtract standard atmosphere from that is 100 and like, I think 20 something or whatever. That translates to like 18.5 pounds of boost, or 18 pounds of boost, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot I was getting all technical on them again. Like, wait, I was like, that just lets you know this car can see easily, you know, 28, 30 pounds on this motor.
KPA?
Boost, pounds of boost. Okay. KPA, that's like almost like 290, 280 KPA. So
what is KPA?
KPA is just a measurement of atmospheric pressure. So like how you have PSI and stuff like that. PSI to KPA, you can convert all that. Yeah.
Oh, so it's basically like
a measure of pressure.
So you can there's a conversion for PSI to that?
Yes, yeah. Yep.
So same thing with like cubic inches to like liters? Similar.
Just like that.
Okay.
Yep.
So I noticed on I don't even know if your main platform is TikTok, YouTube, Instagram.
It's all of it. It's all of it. All of them. But the main thing is YouTube. Yeah.
YouTube. Okay. So I noticed that like you build your own motor, right? So how did you like learn all this stuff, and how did you go through that process of learning how to, you know, do certain things? Because I never really opened up a motor and started messing with stuff, because I was always scared to have to go through that process, especially if you're broke. You don't want to be, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even mess around with stuff.
I'm broke and I'm in Texas, so everything already cheaper here.
Yeah.
When you're poor, you got to learn some skills. You know what I'm saying? So
okay.
I mean, a lot of the stuff that I learned came from my shop, Jack Cabin Performance, and my guys over there. You know, Team Hellcat, all those guys helped push me to where I am now. I would not be anywhere near where I am with this car. Yeah. If it wasn't for them, those guys took a chance on me. I've done nothing but, you know, push those guys up, been the mediator for when, you know, things are going bad at the shop with other people and stuff like that. And you know, those are my guys through and through, and I won't ever change up on them no matter what's going on. So I just want to make that as a point, you know, to be known.
Of course.
With building the car, the first few times I had to blew the motor up a few times, right? Yeah.
From you building it, or
no? So the stock motor let go because I was running too much boost.
Okay.
And the coolant in the car wasn't flowing the right way,
right?
Which was my fault. The external expansion reservoir tank or whatever ended up getting twisted when I pulled my heads off because I was pushing stuff out the way, and I didn't untwist it, put it back, and the car was getting hot, and I couldn't figure out why.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here filling it up with more, you know, water, and it's sucking it down. So if it's sucking it down, then you can't really, you know, see that it's twisted,
right?
You know, so it wasn't getting the proper flow. Stuff wasn't cycling the right way.
Yeah.
It got hot and popped the piston ring from the boost and lost that motor. The motor didn't grenade. All it did was just chip a piston. The motor was still perfectly fine. I drove that. I had to drive on the blown up motor for like, how long was it? I think at least a week or 2 weeks or something like that before I was able to take it up to the shop. I'm talking about this thing was like puffing out smoke out the exhaust. Yeah, really? It was embarrassing, bro.
I went through the same thing. Yeah. I pulled dipstick on my S1000 and
much smoke. Yeah. So after that first motor and us putting the second motor in, I just have to see it once, you know.
Yeah.
So we let shops build the short blocks, and we'll assemble it all at the shop, put it all together and everything. We don't want to be liable, you know, if something is to happen, you know, to a car. We'd rather just, you know, be like, we did everything else that we know to be right. It's easy to go ahead and order these short blocks because it's readily available. Put them in the car, assemble them the right way, and you know you're good to go. So like as far as everything from oil pan to the supercharger and everything like that, I put on there. Only thing I didn't do on this motor was installing the camshaft. And timing that.
Right.
So putting the heads on, gaskets, lifters, push rods, valve covers, Whipple, you know, transmission, all that stuff. I had help with, you know, you need help putting that stuff in. It's heavy parts and stuff like that. I did the motor by myself, putting that all in like an entire day, you know, being up there like 24 hours straight from like 12 a.m. to like, I think I posted a video saying that I was up at Jack Fab for 2 days straight putting my car back together. Wow. Literally, because that's how determined I was, you know, to do that. If you can't sit there and put that kind of time and effort into, you know, your build and your car, and you saying you're passionate about it, in my opinion, you're not really that dedicated to it. Anybody can, you know, spend money and send your car off to a shop and have somebody build it. Yeah. Anybody can sit here and claim to be, you know, this and that and the third, but you can't discredit someone who is actually putting their hands on their car, building it, going out there racing it, taking accountability for when stuff goes wrong, right, and then spending their own money to fix it and rebuild it. And you still don't see them complaining to other people about, oh, well, if they would have done this, then, you know, this wouldn't have happened. Nah, all that stuff is on me 110% through and through. And whatever bad happens with this car is probably going to be my fault again. But, you know, I've learned a lot. I learned a lot from my mistakes. And, you know, we're moving in the right direction. I think we got a real heavy hitter right here.
Yeah, man.
We got some really special stuff still coming for it. Everybody's like, when is it going to stop? When are you going to stop, like, modifying that car? Like, what else is next for it? Yeah. Like, all the new parts that are getting developed, you know, all that new stuff, the new technology, the new stuff, all that is going on this thing. And we're excited to, you know, help propel the industry forward with all that.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. And I feel like you probably don't even, like, you're just going through the motions of it. And I feel like at the level you're at, you know, it's crazy because you started with like a V6, you know, it was a car that your mom gave to you. So now you're like, you're really involved in this. So you're pushing the platform heavy.
Yeah, I'm trying, bro. Like, my goal is to have the fastest street Hellcat, period. I don't care who else got it. I'm coming for it. And I mean that. And I said that on a video on TikTok, on YouTube, and that's still my goal to this day. I'm not about to cut this car up. I'm not about to, you know, do anything crazy extreme to it. Yeah. I'm gonna just, you know, do it like how I've been doing it, and everybody's gonna see one day. You know, like I said, that the time is coming. All that hero weather, you know, stuff is coming. So, you know, we'll definitely go out there and play and show those guys that we can do the same or even better than what they are with a heavy ass car. Yeah,
we're rooting for you, bro. I know you have a lot of people that are supporting you too. Yeah. So we definitely want to see it.
And it's a beautiful thing, bro. I thank God for it every day. Seriously.
Can you talk about this theft that happened? Because most people honestly, you know what's funny? Yeah. I mentioned that I was going to be interviewing you to one of my friends. Mm-hmm. And he was like, "I sound familiar." He was like, "Oh, that's the guy who got his car stolen, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but he's not really known for that." But yeah, I mean,
some people do. Yeah, I mean, like that was like a pretty big video. I was going through a lot, and I was like, I need to get some ink to show the progression and showing freedom and showing people that you can go through all this hardship and all this stuff, turning into something beautiful, and come from that.
Right.
This whole thing also turned into a really big learning experience. Also, like from getting tattooed with the car being stolen. I was getting my arm tattooed in Pleasant Grove, which is a bad area here in Dallas.
Pleasant Grove.
Doesn't even sound like the name is like a whole oxymoron, bro. Like it's bad. Like
I mean, anything Grove should be GTA.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't really thinking. I was thinking about getting my arm tattooed and stuff like that. We had I went over there by myself.
Okay.
I didn't tell anybody. Just kind of going over there. My brother didn't even know I was over there, bro. And I tell him everything. Was over there getting my arm tattooed because I wanted to surprise everybody. With a tattoo, you kind of do that. Went over there, parked my car near a car wash people and stuff like that. There was also a Z06 parked next to me. I was like, man, they gonna steal the Z06 instead of like my car. It don't even look like a regular car. It's got big ass wheels on it, parachute, loud as hell, big cam. Like the car wasn't even like on like a final tune. It was on a base tune. Right? So the car couldn't go over 5,000 RPM. So anytime it goes over 5,000, it'll throw the car in limp mode. Because my tuner didn't want me to be beating on the car until it was ready. Right. Which everybody was screaming, "Oh, it don't take that long to break in a car, blah, blah, blah. Throw it on the dyno, run it, and you're good to go."
I mean, that's
Yeah, but that everybody has their different procedures in doing it. Plus, we were also still waiting on some like really good parts to make the build that we wanted to be. So he had me on a limiter. These guys, they came when we were in there. It's a concrete building. Started the car, got in it, and they stalled it out twice because it's got a big cam in it. So they kept trying to smash the gas to take off. You can see a little parachute dingle in the security camera footage of it stalling.
Yeah.
So I thought it was funny. I'm like, you dumbasses don't even know how to like fucking drive my car, let alone But y'all got it. That's cool. Y'all got everything that was in there. That's cool too. Whatever. We end up not knowing where the car was for like the car was like seen everywhere for like 6 hours, right? Because they were flaunting it and everything. They took everything out of it. We ran through it, all that kind of stuff. That's cool. We can replace that, and I have, and got more.
Right.
They ended up stashing the car somewhere, and that's when all the sightings stopped. That's how we knew the car was sitting somewhere.
Right.
At that point, the game was on.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the city was looking for it, bro. And when I say like the city and the people came through, man, like it was crazy. We had a bounty out on it, obviously, to pay people. My homeboy's girlfriend saw it in an apartment complex. She didn't believe it. Yeah, she lived in.
Wow.
It was in a gated apartment complex.
Yeah.
In a gated parking garage.
Right.
Also, so it was double gated.
Yeah.
She, by the luck of God, drove past it, saw the lime green banner on there. It was like, hey, is this the car that you guys were looking for? As soon as like he sent me the photo, he was like, bro, you're not gonna believe this. We found your car. As soon as he sent me the photo, she didn't stay with it. She drove off because she didn't want nothing bad to happen.
Right.
As soon as we saw the photo, I told my mom, told my brother, told everybody. Not everybody, because I didn't want people to know that we knew where the car was.
Right.
We drove out there. We was ready. We stashed the truck in front of the car. Was able to lock it all down and like secure it and everything like that. Had my homeboy Gio come with the trailer.
Yeah.
We pulled it all out of there. Was ready for whatever if anybody wanted to pull up.
Yeah.
Trackhawk that was also stolen by these guys rolled down, and we pulled into the canes because we hadn't even strapped the car down because we don't want to be up top.
It's a white one, right?
Yeah, a white Trackhawk rolled down. We didn't want to be stuck up top where people could have an advantage if something were to go down. We pulled into the canes, started strapping the car down. Trackhawk pulls out and then takes off in front of us. And I was like, that's oddly peculiar because you hardly see Trackhawks anywhere, let alone near a car that just got stolen, So they roll down, they see how deep we are, they go down, they make a left, come back around, we're strapping the car down, they lock it from across the street. We were praying that they came in there, but they didn't. They set off the alarm and drove off, and then we're looking around. We finally go ahead and strap it all down, take off, and take it back home and put it away and come up here, get the security system on that and the truck. So
wow,
no more of that game.
why are these cars so easy to steal though? I feel like I hear that a lot about these
a lot of it is like, obviously if you don't have a security system on there, it's easy to get into it. They'll have people with programmers now that can go off in there, boost the signal to keys, stuff like that, bust the windows, plug a computer in, program a key, and then they're gone. And then 40 seconds, like that's it.
Is that any car or just mostly this platform?
Any Dodge Mopar most of the time now. That's why we stress for people to get security systems on the cars. We have bought it that weekend, and it was Easter weekend. So we weren't able to come up here and get it put on. The only time for it to happen, it happened like that. And I just thank God, like I said, that we were able to get it back with minimal stuff happening. They obviously got my camera, whatever. They got the nitro stuff in there, whatever. We got the whole car back, and that's what all that matters at the end of the day. But then the transmission went out like literally that same week, and I think it was, like I said, from them trying to like mash on the gas and hitting that limiter and it stalling out and all that kind of stuff. But it is what it is. We came back better, you know what I'm saying?
No, 100%.
Built transmission, built motor, Whipple, the whole thing, So yeah.
So is that what you were talking about with the camera too? You said you had a camera before that.
Yeah, so I was really big into the photo video stuff, and I had a Sony A7S III 70-24-70 on there.
Yeah.
The filters and all that stuff to make it look cinematic, all that stuff. They got all of that.
Damn.
But yeah, you know how expensive that stuff is.
I know, man. That's at least like $5,000 or $6,000.
But now I get to upgrade.
That's like $6,000.
It's about $5,000. About $5,000
with the lens. The lens is about $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, my lens was it's Sigma. So
Sigma. I thought it was Sony. Okay. Yeah,
so
Sony
is... if it, I would have, man. I'd be looking everywhere for that thing if it was a Sony.
Sony's
Zeiss
like
lenses and the G Master lenses ain't cheap.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, I mean it's just a blessing to have it back, and to be able to not only do that, but then we went and got the TRX, and we got that to tow, the combo, all that.
So I found your videos on Shorts.
Yep.
Right. Now that's when I had first saw who you were, and every time I would open up my YouTube, you would pop up. Yeah. And it was always this GoPro, or Insta360. I'm not sure what you use.
GoPro 360.
But like you would always pop up, but for some reason, like I was just always hooked onto what was going on because I'm like,
something interesting. It's cutting straight to the action.
It's different, but you always see car videos and you see people in cars, racing in them, or reaction videos, having the girl in the car, their mom. But what you were doing was a little bit different because like you were kind of challenging everybody on the road. I feel like people thought like, oh, maybe like a lot of these runs that you were doing where you were racing yourself, because a lot of these people like they had either a car that wasn't capable of keeping up with yours, a scat pack,
something like that.
Okay,
so I remember what you're talking about. So let's get into that, right? A lot of the clips that people see are just clips. They're segments
from
just my day.
So you just drive, you set your camera up and you drive.
I'm just driving, minding my own business most of the time.
Yeah.
And if I see something funny, sometimes I'll interact. It's just like, somebody rolling around and like giving you like a thumbs up or something like that. But with the cars, man, sometimes, shit happens. Yeah. So in some instances, right, people think that it's me racing against myself, but they can't see inside the other car through the glass because the mirrors are, it's just tinted.
Right.
You can't see that on the 360.
Yeah.
They can't see the other guy counting down and then us both going. They can't see us both trying to line up just like a few cars back behind and then like them going and then not being able like to see me saying wait or hold on or like whatever. And then some guys, you know, they don't end up like wanting to race, but then they end up taking off after I get into the far right lane or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a whole lot of like discrepancies, and it's a short. It's a clip of what I'm normally doing, and I don't have to really do a whole bunch. With the Camaro one, if you saw the Camaro one, the super slow, like what's up super slow or anything like that.
Was it white Camaro?
It was a silver Camaro or whatever. I was just like kind of like heading. I was heading to work that day too. And this dude is like literally in front of me, like revving up his car and everything. And I don't have badges on my car, so he thought it was a Scat Pack. That kind of thing. Then the Scat Pack that you had saw me run or whatever, that was a supercharged Scat Pack.
Okay.
People don't even know that. And on his thing it said Cat Killer. So
that was the one I was talking
about. Yeah. So I mean, like
I was trying to come up with
and that's just us like playing around. And then they're like he goes, so I go.
Yeah.
And then he is, and then like I see he's not going, so I kind of get off. And then he goes again, so then I actually go.
Right. You hear it.
You know? Yeah. And then I can see in the video that he's going. You know, but that car ain't got shit for me. So obviously it took off. And I tried to line up against anything on the road. It wasn't just like me picking on like whatever's there.
Yeah.
You saw me trying to like run McLarens.
I saw that
like
he wasn't
GTRs
with it.
And yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's not me picking and choosing. It's just like, you know, recording what normally happens here on the Texas roads.
Yeah.
That's it. And when I post like the actual racing videos.
Yeah.
All this, all that. He wasn't ready. That's bull crap. My uncle's cousins, sons, nephews, uncle's brothers, stepsons on the third side of the world has a faster car than that. I mean, come line them up and just like, you know, like that's fine. Like there's no heavy weight to this because we're just cruising on the highway, bro.
Yeah.
So people get all worked up about it. It makes me no difference.
No, that's how it is.
Yeah.
People always want to test you, and then it's like you don't have a tire set up, or you take your tires off. You put the stock tires on or something like that, and people want to start messing with you. It's like, bro,
yeah, that's why I keep them on all the time. Yeah, stay ready. You don't gotta get ready.
You gotta stay ready.
Yes, sir.
Right. I know you get a lot of call outs, right? And it seems like
man.
So people are always challenging you.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of the time you have something to say about it. And you kind of it's very clear.
Yeah.
And you're pretty good at like saying like, yo, this is what I have for you. This is what happened. You know, we already ran it before. I already smoked you, or whatever the situation is.
Oh, you talking about that Z01 thing? It could be stuff like that. Yeah, just in general.
Just in general. But like, why is it a thing now to where everybody's just gonna challenge you? You know.
So
where did that come from?
With a lot of people, right? They can't accept the fact that you came from where they are most of the time, and they can't get to where you are because they're too busy focused on you and what you're doing. Right? They can't blaze their own path. They got to come up off your name.
Your name, right?
Right. There's plenty of cars that are faster than mine. A large majority of the cars that call me out aren't. The cars that call me out most of the time now that are what? 2,000 wheel horsepower GTRs, twin turbo Lambos and stuff like that. People on the other side of the country, you know, knowing that I can't get to them, all that kind of stuff. Fully built, like, you know, race cars on like aftermarket computers and all that kind of stuff, like all that. This is a full on street car. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people just kind of, you know, they say I pick and choose, but they like to wait in certain moments to try to get strike, you know, so that they can get their little buzz and everything. And I'm like, yeah, you get your little 5 minutes and that's cool. But guess what? You're going to fade right back to where you were, and doing whatever it was that you were doing that, you know, is why you are where you are now. You know what I'm saying? It's not my fault.
Yeah.
So why are you mad at me?
Right.
I didn't make these decisions for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing my thing. Y'all see that I'm doing my thing. Y'all want a piece of it, and y'all are, you know, trying to mess with me on that. So, you know, at the end of the day, anybody who lines up with it, they can get it.
What was your most recent race?
The Plaid was the most recent race, and that was something that I wanted because I wanted to gauge if the car, when we put it back, because this whole thing has changed. Yeah. Right? It's a different motor, different supercharger, different, you know, transmission, all that. I wanted to see if the car was working against something that was really consistent. Right. Also a car that was waxing most of the people here in DFW. And I would say I'm like one of the second cars who have came like the closest to it.
Yeah.
When they're not obviously spinning down the road and stuff like that.
Right.
But prior to that, you know, racing cars like Just Viper and stuff like that. That's kind of, you know, what we
You
usually
ran
do.
his car?
Yeah, him and I race all the time. Yeah.
So who's faster?
It depends on the night. It depends on the night, right? So he's able to turn his car up because he's got turbos and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So every other now and then he'll be able to like to figure out how to turn the boost up a little bit more.
Okay.
But we're about like it's like he'll beat me one time, I'll beat him another. He'll beat me one time, I'll beat him like maybe 2 more times, something like that.
Wow.
And etc. Yeah. So this car is running with the twin turbo fully built Viper. His is probably running around like 1,300 wheel horsepower.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you feel like turbo is better in this weather rather than supercharged?
So it's like I said, it's dependent on what the setup is. Obviously, turbo is a less parasitic power adder to go on a car because it's not built driven. It's not going to take away from the motor.
Right.
If anything, it helps, you know, evacuate, you know, the exhaust gases that are in the chambers and help push in more air, you know, to, you know, facilitate more power. With the supercharger, it's all
instant
it's
torque,
all on there.
instant power, yeah.
But nowadays, turbos have caught up in the sense of being able to, you know, have rolling anti-lag, build up the boost right away and stuff like that. But as far as maintenance and stuff like that goes, I really love superchargers.
Yeah.
I also love that you can throw nitrous on top of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so like how y'all got a scramble button to close the, you know, blow off valves and stuff like that, or the waste gates. We got that nitrous on tap, baby. So, you know, we got that party juice, we got that go-go juice, and we're going to spray and pray.
So you're spraying on this too?
It's set up for it. We're just kind of, you know, trying to still figure out the car and everything.
Yeah.
Like I said, we haven't even turned it up yet.
Right.
So not only are we running the same times that everybody else is bragging about in the heat, we're also not spraying on it yet. And we haven't even turned the car up yet.
Damn.
So that's what I'm saying, bro. I'm super excited for what is coming with this thing, and you know how far we're gonna go with it.
Yeah, it's super.
We're going for sevens. That's
sevens.
It. Yeah. Fuck the eights. We're going for sevens. $7.99 or anything in the sevens. That's what I'm going for.
Okay, maybe not. I was gonna say it's super late because I would have. I was hoping if we were filming earlier, I could have got a ride along. But you said that, I'm like.
He's like, I don't know, man.
Nah, man. I have a thing about being a passenger in some car. I'm definitely not getting.
But I mean, it has everything in it right now to, you know, be able to do that. Minus the spray at this point. But we're gonna be making some pretty big changes, get some more air off in that thing, and we're gonna be knocking on the door. So.
That's dope, man. I'm glad that you're saying this because, you know, you're saying it right here, so I get to actually witness and be on the lookout for that. So you had an event recently as well. It was last week in Houston, and the turnout it looked great, man. Like that was honestly, I was like, yo, this is like, I was really proud because I'm like, damn, bro, like it's crazy how somebody, you know, just came up from YouTube.
I appreciate that. Thank you, bro.
Nah, for real, man. Because it's like, you know, everybody could be an influencer, a content creator, and it's hard to do stuff like that and have people show up, and especially at like how you're doing it.
I was so nervous, bro. Like,
it's crazy.
And I've never hosted a car meet before.
Yeah.
So to be able to go down there and do it and still have people come over there to try to like call out and like do all other kind of stuff too, but more so the community coming together and like showing the love and appreciation and everything else like that, bro. It was beautiful. It was something I never experienced before, and it's something that I'm always gonna be grateful for.
Right.
You know, it was like I felt like a superstar.
No, man. I mean,
and I usually like, you know, don't. But if you see in the videos, bro, I was shaking everybody's hand.
I know,
a firm shake, not no like me just dapping you up or something like that, bro. Their hands were sweaty and everything. It's hot outside. It was humid. I shook their hands, looked them dead in their eyes, let them know that I appreciate them. I wish I could do that with everybody who follows me and supports me because that's what I genuinely do. I appreciate it because at the end of the day, you don't have to.
Right.
You don't have to watch my stuff. You don't have to support me. You don't have to do anything. If you don't like me, you don't have to be here. But the people that do, the people that stayed, the people that are here right now, watching this podcast, watching the videos, everything like that, those are the people that, you know, I salute to y'all. I appreciate y'all. And that's just, you know, the kind of love and respect I got for people.
That's awesome, man.
Loyalty is everything. So everybody who's loyal to me, I'm always going to be loyal to them and just do my best to stay myself and keep it a bean and, you know, I don't have to do my best because like that's just, you know, what I normally do. You know what I'm saying? It's normal. It's just who I am. It's what I do. I'm not trying to act like anybody else. I'm not trying to be something I'm not. I show everybody the ups and downs of everything. If I didn't want people to know about what happened to the V6 and just pop out with the Hellcat, you think I would have made that whole video?
That's true.
You think I would have showed the world when I was going through like, you know, emotional stuff like that, and then like rising up from all that to come back and, you know, go and have all these triumphs of, you know, the truck, the car, you know, all that kind of stuff, then it getting stolen, then, you know, getting it back, then, you know, building it to be even more badass, you know, hosting all these events, all this kind of stuff is a part of the story. It's who I am. I don't have to fake nothing, and that is what is so beautiful to me every single day. I'm who I am. I'm not trying to be anybody else but myself. That's it.
And that will take you far beyond anybody else, man.
Yeah. And a lot of people think I'm like 30, man. I'm only like,
I know.
So there's nothing wrong with being that old, because like I said, there's nothing wrong with being that old. I don't know.
You sound like you're saying that, bro.
No, I know. But a lot of people think that I'm way older, bro. I'm only 24.
I know.
And I don't say only 24 like trying to be like, oh, bro, I'm 24. I'm doing all. No, bro. Like, I know that like God has blessed me with so much knowledge at this age that like for me to make the moves that I'm moving in comparison to what a lot of these other guys are doing, going out there partying, drinking, smoking, all that kind of stuff. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not my taste. And I decided to put all that effort and energy into, you know, school and the car and YouTube and my community. And that's just, you know, that's my high, if you will. So
that's dope. Yeah, in my 20s, man, I was partying. I was living my dreams too. But like weekends, I was out on the weekends. Sometimes I was out during the week too. But it depends on where I was at in life. But I really, you know, that's a regret of mine is, you know, that I wish I would have. But you can't really look at life that way.
Well, it's not really a regret, right? It's things happen.
Yeah,
for a reason.
And
not necessarily just only that saying, but things happen for a reason so that you can, you know, meet who you're supposed to meet.
Yeah.
Be where you're supposed to be. You know, live how you're supposed to live, and do the things that, you know, you're supposed to do in order to make you the person that you want to be. Right. So you made the decisions to do whatever it is that you wanted to do in your life. You take those, you know, learn from them, hold them with you. They're a part of your past, and it's, you know, a beautiful thing because that's what shapes us all into being the person that we want to be.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's what it's all about.
Yeah. And anybody else who's probably around my age, they're probably in a different position, maybe somewhere else. But like, I take advice from anybody, bro. Like, you're 24 telling me this, I'm like, yo, like, you're 100% right.
Well, I'm just trying to be, I just try to be real with it, because you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I'm just like you.
Yeah.
I'm just like the person watching this video. I'm just like her, my brother. At the end of the day, I came from the same place that everybody else did. I had the same kind of opportunities that everybody else did, where, you know, obviously things are, you know, different. There's a variation there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I made, you know, decisions and work just like how everybody else does. And I'm no different from anybody else. Anybody can do what I'm doing, obviously in their own way. But, you know, there's nothing stopping anybody from picking up a camera and trying to tell their story.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So there's this whole American versus BMW thing happening.
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah.
I'm not gonna. So you already spoke at it.
Yeah.
You said your piece on it, right? It's already been a thing. I don't want to jump on the BMW bandwagon that actually I kind of started.
It's all good. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So what we can't forget that there are JDM cars that can put power down.
Yes.
On a budget.
100%.
So in regards to the JDM, can you speak on that aspect? JDM versus American?
So there's a lot of JDM cars.
Okay, let's say Honda Civic. Let's say laptop Civic.
Well, I'm not saying like you have to specify it or you know, like that. But I'm just saying, like, in the sense of there's a lot of JDM cars in the USA now, right?
100%, yeah.
There's a lot of
that could be GCRs too.
Yeah. Them slow things.
Let's say Honda Civic. Let's say Civics. Let's just keep it this Hondas.
Yeah. So with Hondas, man, I've seen some Hondas go out there and fly, bro. And on a budget, once you reach a certain tier, right, anything starts to get expensive.
Okay.
So a turbo built in a professional manner with
Right.
the great upgrades and all that other kind of stuff, it's still going to be the same cost and turbo to fit on a Hellcat or whatever.
Labor.
Depending upon the flange style, if it's T4 flange, all that kind of stuff. But in retrospect, with Hondas, they got the game figured out. You can go and you can beat on an old school Honda, and that thing probably not gonna die.
Right.
In comparison to like a V8 that has like a missing spark plug or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's just knocking to hell, and they can knock to hell and still not break. But you know what I'm saying. When it comes to Hondas, building them on a budget, you can build some pretty fast Hondas, bro. They're light as hell. 500 horsepower in like a 2,000-pound car is like rowdy. It's insane.
Right.
Comparing that to a car of similar caliber, I don't think you can get a lighter car in a V8 than a Honda, and make that same kind of power.
Yeah.
Have that same kind of power to weight ratio, but at the same time, when it comes to what's the word for being able to put something in a different platform, like what I'm saying, the interchangeability of like K24 or like some other style motors,
like hybrid swaps,
like going, you can they're like Legos, you can put them together like nothing.
Right.
And there's a bunch of them in the junkyard, there's a bunch of them everywhere. Like I love Hondas, I want to have one day. But for me, I just like the big power V8s and having all that. I think you can build a really fast Honda on a budget. Plenty of people have done it. They're all-wheel driving them now, bro, and that's insane.
I know.
But as far as like to build a Honda motor is probably obviously going to be cheaper than building a Hellcat motor or a Chevy motor or an LS motor. But the thing is that you don't have to build an LS motor compared to a Honda motor to handle that same power.
Yeah. That's true.
So
I think that the biggest thing that people are missing, it's relative to the time period.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So if we're comparing, let's say like a Eclipse, a DSM.
Yeah.
Those cars can make a lot of power for cheap, but they're always breaking. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, you know how many what is it, 4G63 motors and all crank sprockets, all that kind of stuff. I see those things breaking all the time. Like, man, they're great motors. They make some really good power.
Right.
But like I see series of people on YouTube trying to build them.
Yeah. And
they're like, bro, what happened to it? Fresh Kicks. He had a really badass one, but he ended up letting it go because
parts, you can't find parts, reliability.
What is it, Dan Van Voris or what is it, Vistafen or something like that.
I haven't heard of him.
Well, they have some builds with Evo stuff also.
Okay.
Bro, he's having to tear that thing apart every other weekend just to keep it going.
That's not a budget build then to me.
It's not. If you have to tear it down that many times to rebuild it, compared to a motor that you can just go buy out of the junkyard, you know what I'm saying, and it handle upwards of 1,000 horsepower with an eBay fighting warrior, wishy warrior from whatever, ting tong home, whatever. Man, I don't know what the wishy washy warriors, all them and turbos, man. You throw a turbo on a cheap ass, Harbor Freight welder or whatever, you could make upwards of 600, 700 horsepower if you got good injectors and all that other kind of stuff.
Right.
So some parts you can't cheap out on, obviously some that you can. But like you say, and like I always try to tell people, it's relative to what you're comparing it to.
Right.
What is fast to you? What are we comparing it to? You can't compare a 3,000, 3,200 pound, let's say twin turbo Lambo to a fully built 4,000 pound plus Hellcat.
Right.
And say that they're on the same scale.
Yeah.
It's different.
It's different.
And when you're comparing things, it's also really good to compare them in the right sense of like, okay, one light car to another light car. The budget between them both, it's just like really hard to like sit there and put them all on the scale because there's their interchangeability. That's why everybody tries to compare just based off of speed. And when you hear people make excuses, it's, oh, well, you have 8 cylinders. Oh, well, you have 4 cylinders. Oh, well, you have 6 cylinders.
Yeah. Okay,
well, what are we comparing it to?
Right.
And Dan also brought up a good point in when he was talking about comparing a fully built GTR versus a
stock
fully
for stock.
built. Yeah, stock for stock. Hellcat's killing the GTR all day long. The numbers don't lie on that.
Is it
built
did he say? I think he agreed with that though. No.
Yeah. I'm just stock for stock
yeah.
A Hellcat is faster than the GTR all day long. They're around the same weight. GTR is making a little less horsepower, less the Hellcat spinning, bro. Like there's a lot of variables and stuff. But on the numbers, you can go compare them with everybody else's, little things on there with draggies and stuff like that. Across the board, Hellcat is gonna beat GTR all day long. Same thing with ZL1. Built for built, you're talking 2,000 horsepower versus 2,000 horsepower, rear-wheel drive versus all-wheel drive on a track and stuff like that. I'll tell Dan this to his face. We got cars out there that'll run that GTR and smoke it, bro.
I think he know. Yeah. So he does. I think he did know.
If you build a Hellcat in the same fashion that you build a GTR,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Come on now.
That's the first time you made that face this whole interview.
But I'm being for real though. Like there's 7-second Hellcats. There's 6-second Hellcats, VIN Hellcats. They're obviously tubed and race card out and stuff like that. Same thing with the GTR. Compare both of those in price.
Well, he said that basically at the end when it like top builds, you never see Hellcats up there.
You don't, because guess what? A lot of these older guys that end up taking it that far, there's only maybe like 1 or 2 of them. Not everybody's doing that. When you see somebody with a Hellcat, they're cutting it up at the intersection, doing donuts.
Yeah,
they're getting stolen. They're doing minimal bolt-ons and stuff like that. There's not a lot of people in that same market as there are with GTRs, because like I said earlier, GTR is an entry-level supercar.
Right.
Who do you see doing takeovers in the damn GTR?
Honestly, I've
never seen
I wouldn't promote that, but yeah,
I've never seen it,
because nobody wants to do that. You're not gonna want to damage it.
And that's what I'm saying. So, and it's unfortunate that a Hellcat is kind of like a hood trophy.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I said, that's why on that kind of scale, you have to be realistic when you're comparing them, in the sense that there's guys out there that do it. There's a plethora of 7-second Hellcats now.
Right.
There's a good amount in the 8s also, all day long.
Right.
But a lot of these guys are the older guys who don't really care to sit there and promote all that kind of stuff. They're not about to go back and forth with it because they know what's up.
Right.
Racers know what's up. They're not about to sit there and and Dan does it for the entertainment purposes and also for his own enjoyment and stuff like that.
Right.
But Dan and I can race, like I say, any day of the week.
He was gonna pull up. Dan was gonna pull up. Well, I was gonna head down to Houston, but I was hoping that would happen. I mean, your car is in running condition.
Yeah, so. It's good to go. We're waiting on the drive shaft to come in, and we'll be out there testing at the track. But like I said, Dan ain't gonna come to the track. Dan don't want that.
Oh man, I think that's gonna be one of those things that probably won't ever happen unless he.
Unfortunately, how I won't see Dan on the street because I'm a rear-wheel drive car, kind of near his. I'm not right at 2,000. I'm not like all the way up there yet, but one day we gonna see about that. But as of right now, the car would be a fun race if it was on a surface where I could hook.
Yeah.
On a street, especially during TX2K weather time, bro, ain't nobody hooking like that. That's why them all-wheel drive cars be killing rear-wheel drive cars, unless they're on like an aftermarket, ECU that has sophisticated traction control.
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of people don't even want to pay for that because that's like another $4,000 on top of the aftermarket ECU to control it. So, is
it because of the design of a Hemi that prevents it from making those high horsepower numbers?
No, so this is actually my car is still a stock block.
Okay.
So it is a 6.2 block, and it's been stroked out to a 6.7 liter. So it's a 411 cubic inch motor, and it is an iron block, much like how you see iron block 5.3s and 4.8s and stuff like that in the LS world. They hold power. We built a car at our shop that made 1,800 wheel horsepower through twin turbos at Fuel Tech.
Damn.
Yeah, and there's a guy out there that's cock blocking the shop because he don't want them to get the credit for it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I documented it all. It's all on the channel,
Right.
on the Instagram, everything like that. They had a falling out, unfortunately. So, you know, whoever they're going to take credit for building that car, whatever. We really don't care because it's all documented.
It's all documented, right?
Yeah,
right.
yeah. But at the end of the day, if you build a Hellcat with the same good parts that you build a GTR, they'll sit the same. As long as the car sits the same, it's going to be a good race. So,
okay.
yeah.
I look, man. I respect it, man.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Once I get like, you know, a sleeve block and all that kind of stuff, you know, that's able to hold like 2,500 horsepower and all other kind of stuff, you know, maybe I'll be up there in them numbers in the future. So we'll see. But you know what I'm saying? Right now we're not there, and I know my place, and we'll get there eventually. I'm not going to just sit here and just I'm never satisfied, bro.
That's good though. That's what's gonna keep you going though.
Yeah,
keep you,
always stay hungry.
Yeah, stay hungry. Yeah. That's dope. So so I mean, what's next for you outside of that? Like in terms of, you have merch now, you have
so everybody can see we got Luckey Racing, we got Boosted Luckey on boosted-luckey.com. We be, you know, trying to sell a lot of stuff on there. We're trying to do a lot more events and bring the community together, bring more people out, have fun, race the car, do all that kind of stuff that I've been craving to do. I've just been on lockdown by the shop because we're waiting for everything to be in place. But the goal right now, man, is to build Twin Turbo Viper. So we'll get there eventually. Yeah. And we're also building another Charger that we're trying to make, you know, twin turbo. And you know, turbos eat, but so do Whipples. And this Whipple car gonna be eating real good soon. So, you know, we gonna see. I love them both.
Yeah. That's dope.
It's like picking your favorite child. You can't do that.
I've never had a supercharger or anything like that. Pro Charger, I've never even.
Oh, it hits.
Yeah,
it hits. You'll see. I'll show you. Don't make that face now.
Yeah, I seen the videos where you had I don't know if it was your tuner.
Yeah.
Or somebody was just
yeah. They're levitating back there. Yeah.
I don't know.
Because when the torque on a blower car hits, it hits.
It's instant.
It's all there. It lights up the tires. Like I'm in there like Dom Toretto, like getting ready to do a damn wheelie, like, bro, like it hits and it's nasty. That's why everybody sees the car blows the tires off so hard. I literally will paint the highway with 11s.
Wow.
I have to manage the throttle. I have to pedal it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I'm good. I told Dan the same thing because he's like, yo, we could do a ride along. I'm like, bro, I am okay. I'm all right.
All good.
I've been in, the only car that scared the shit out of me were Evos.
Oh yeah.
All-wheel drive. That
crab walking.
That right there, that will put you in a seat.
Yeah.
Different. And there wasn't much spinning on that one.
Mm-hmm.
About like 800 horsepower.
Oh, 800?
Yeah.
I'll get him in this one.
No, but I'm saying you feel all that.
Mm-hmm.
And 800. I was in the back seat too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is when I was younger, but I'm never getting in. That is what scared me a bit about getting in cars. That and a Talon.
That and Talons are nasty too.
Yeah.
I have a buddy with a Talon. It's pretty nasty too. But a lot of people trying to do hero shit is also what will scare somebody, trying to show off and stuff like that. You don't ever get in a car with somebody who you can't.
You never know though.
Really
That's
trust.
the problem. That's why I don't like being passenger, because you don't know. Especially maybe somebody's trying to impress, just to say like, I had him in the car, and then I can go tell everybody about. I don't really care, bro. Like, I'm trying to get back home safe.
Don't do no hero stuff. With me, if you see a lot of the racing that I'm doing, you see it's all controlled, right? You don't see a shit ton of cars like on one side. You don't see, like you'll see like the shorts and stuff like that, where it's like little clips of us playing around on the highway and stuff. We're not going 200 mile an hour on the freaking highway, bro. But it looked like that or something.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna come out here for Texas 2K.
Yeah.
I haven't been. It's gonna be my first time.
It's gonna be an experience for sure.
You're gonna be there?
Yeah, we live right over here, bro. We're gonna be racing this year for sure.
All right. So I definitely want to. I'm probably not gonna have a car because as I heard earlier, they're kind of a lot of issues with the cops and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's more so like they're bringing it up here to Dallas, so it's kind of like don't shit where you sleep kind of deal.
Right.
In Houston,
right.
You can go party in Houston. We're not a house. Have fun down there. Now you're at home.
They moved it this
year.
They
moved it here to Dallas this year. Yeah.
Oh, it was in Dallas.
At the Ennis Motorplex. At the Texas Motorplex in Ennis.
So, baby, we will be in Dallas. When is this? In March?
Yeah, around March. Yeah,
we'll be in Dallas in March. All the big events.
It'll be cool out. You'll actually like the weather.
Yeah, I saw people wearing hoodies and stuff.
It's like it's cold, bro.
Yeah,
like, it's like that's when I say people out there running their cars as hard as they can during this weather time. Like they blowing them up because the weather's that good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Negative DA, really low temps, like 40 degrees. People running in 40 degrees. People and this is what pisses me off the most, bro. People will compare 38 degree weather, negative like 500 DA draggy times to someone running like in 3300 DA weather. It's not comparable, bro.
You wouldn't even know what to look for. A lot of people just don't even know what to look for. And this is what you're saying all this stuff, but like you're talking on a technical level where it's like most people will just look at the number. Like I've never heard anybody
break it down that way. Yeah.
Like I'm sure that people do speak about it. I'm not saying they don't, but when it comes to numbers, it's just the time.
I looked it up on YouTube, bro. There's not many people that are sitting there explaining it. There's only like 1 or 2 videos that like are dedicated to explaining how the DA.
Did you make one?
And how not me. It was a guy who I think he had an Acura or something like that, but he was just kind of talking about it. And bro, there is a fast Acura out there right now, bro.
Acura
like,
what? RSX?
No, not RSX. It's the
newer?
small one. No, old one.
Acura.
Bro,
Integra?
Not an Integra.
Acura, Integra, RSX. Damn sure ain't no TSX. I doubt it.
It's the one where like the lights in the front kind of like slant down, and then like
it's not an NSX, right?
It's not an NSX though.
Oh, because those aren't really like
Nah, bro. Like, all I know is that there's an Acura out there right now running like 2.9, 160 to 130s. Anything in the 2s is insane. Bro, like it's
60 to 130 in the 2s,
60 to 130, 60 miles an hour to 130 miles an hour, and like 2.
But what if you spin? You can still hit that number, right?
You can, but if it like what shows your acceleration on the graph is like the G's and stuff like that. So there's a G meter that's able to track like when you're spinning, if your car's moving, and like what's going on and stuff like that. So yeah.
What Acura is this,
bro?
Somebody's.
Huh?
No,
do you have a photo.
I doubt it's the TLX.
Bring my phone real quick.
Is it like? It's like a.
It's kind of like a tooth. Looks like a tooth.
Looks like a tooth.
Like a sharp canine tooth. I'll find it for you.
And it's an old car.
Yeah.
Acura. Because that one looks like you said.
It might be an RSX. It's an RXX.
Oh, RSX.
Yeah, okay, Acura RSX.
Yeah, those are case swapped. Well, those have Ks in them, not case swap. They have Ks in them.
So he went a 316, 60 to 130, and a 277, 100 to 150.
That's still impressive for that car.
That's insanely fast, bro. Like that one, he had ran like a 329, but like you got a car. That's what I'm saying. You can always build a car to run and do whatever you want it to do.
Yeah.
And like I love seeing unique builds and stuff like that. Anybody can there's a certain point when you're racing someone's wallet and you're racing like someone who's like a competitive like car or whatever, right? It's not fun once you start racing someone's wallet because they can just go buy another car. Like you're not a real car guy, I don't really care.
That's a lot of people now.
Yeah. But in my opinion, to see someone build a car, it run those times, it be like a crazy, awesome build and come together beautifully. I have a lot more respect for people who actually do it that way. Who actually put their hands on their cars and not just sit there and bump gums just because they got money to, dump into, stuff and get it built for them. That's all. Anybody can sit there and not anybody can make that much money, obviously. It takes a, smart person to do that, but anybody with money can sit there and go dump it into, a cheap ass car and have somebody build it for them.
Exactly.
So,
but the thing is with those cars now, it's just like if you want to do it the right way, you got to get parts, and it's hard to source parts for those.
And it's expensive.
It's expensive now. The JDM market has been up right now. So
it changes.
It's definitely different from what it was back then.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I'm super happy that I was actually able to, and this went well. I mean,
yeah,
I feel like we
it probably wasn't as much drama as people would have liked.
No, I wasn't even expecting.
No, I know, but
I
want to
say more your background, your story, and kind of like.
I'm not saying with you though. I'm saying like as far as like the controversy of like of podcasts. Usually, if I want to say something controversial, I could say that I'll put 4 football fields on Dan at the racetrack, but he won't race me there.
Yeah, but I didn't even make clips of that when he called you out because
I know, but I'm just saying in general.
Yeah,
I watched the whole thing with Dan. He's really good people. I got a lot of respect for him.
Yeah,
I got a lot of respect for Monza Fam. I got a lot of respect for the people who helped pave the way for us to get to where we are now.
Right.
And I'm just trying to continue that on and show people what Hellcats can do. A lot of people think they're just, like I said, hood trophies that you slide around.
Right.
There's not a whole lot of fast ones out there. It's a very like select group. And if I can help, push that whole group to the front and show people what they can really do, I'm gonna do everything in my power to.
So you can tell them where to find you. You guys know who he is, but if you guys don't know who he is,
people can find me on Instagram at Boosted Luckey, Facebook Boosted Luckey, YouTube Boosted Luckey. That's where we post a lot of the long form content, and anything for merch and stuff like that you want to buy, boosted-luckey.com. And
it'll be in the description, guys.
Yeah, and we always, like I said, down for some good action, and appreciate you guys coming out here and showing love all the way from New York.
Yeah, me and my girl.
Yeah, this boy was out here sweating, man.
I know. You're not the first person who said that because I'm always setting up, man. It's always hot. I'm always sweating.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. People don't know what it goes in. Well, all the work that goes into making something like this happen. Setting up the lights, stuff like that. Even me doing it in my bedroom. takes a while, trying to set the camera angle right. If you don't have like screens to flip around,
you got to pause that.
Yeah, no, not like that, not like that. Oh, pause.
Somebody gonna be like, Paul, hey, yo,
nah, I ain't with. Nah, I got some homeboys. No, I'm kidding.
Nah, I'm messing with you, man.
I got you.
So what do people call you? They call you
Luckey.
Luckey.
Yeah.
Okay, Luckey. Because we were trying to figure that out. Do you call him Boosted? That's kind of weird.
Some people just call me Boosted. Like Jeff calls me Boosted, and I was like, don't call me Boosted. But he just does it anyway, so he calls me Boosted. But everybody just calls me Luckey. It's kind of like everybody calls him Luckey. That's my younger brother. They call him Luckey at school. It's an easy name to remember.
Yeah.
They call me Luckey in football. They call my younger sister, Luckey, and my older sister Luckey. And that's just kind of what it is. Boosted Luckey Racing, something that we all can be proud of, something that's good for our family and stuff like that, and just trying to put us on the map. My real name is Deshaun Luckey. But I go by Luckey.
Oh, that's your last name?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like me. Tukes is my last name.
There he goes.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Polar, we're similar. He got to fit it on. I got to fit it on. We were both wearing black. I thought we were gonna match.
Texas version of Tukes. I guess. I mean, I don't have a. Yeah. Okay. Except with a crazy build.
I'm trying.
That's dope, man. But I really appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much for making this happen.
Of course.
I hope to come back, and I'll be back in March.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what I'll be doing at that time. That's months from now, but hopefully, it's been 2 months with this podcast, and hopefully by that time,
you're growing, man. You'll make it. Trust me.
We'll see.
I've seen you got some really good momentum. You've had a lot of good people on here. You're making a solid foundation of videos to start from, so that people can see what to expect.
Yeah.
Kind of like how I was trying to do, with my deal, trying to show people what I'm doing, wrenching on my own cars on the ground, getting it out the mud, shit like that. You're doing it, building it all from the ground up, and obviously it's a lot easier to do certain stuff from a fresh start.
Yeah.
In that sense, you got more opportunity, more wiggle room. You're not confined to a certain space. You can make this look however you want it to look, and you're doing it very, very well.
Thank you, bro.
You're taking everything that you've learned from the industry and the professional side, turning it into something that you were doing that you want for yourself. And that's kind of what I had to do. Like, I was in the sports media sector.
Okay.
Doing a lot of the videos, sports edits and stuff like that. Like I was telling you when I was doing college football.
Yeah.
And I was basically the media department for my school. I did a bunch of graphic design, the video edits, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And people didn't appreciate it. So guess what I did? I used it for myself. And, a lot of the inspiration from watching other guys do it, I can do it too. And that's kind of like where I am now. So, and
that's dope, man.
Seeing you doing it now too, you gonna make it, bro. Trust me. You already know. You see the momentum. You see the numbers. You're doing numbers.
I try not to pay attention to that. I just
but the thing is that you have to, you try not to, but you have to at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like you get what I'm saying by that.
Right, I know what you
mean. If you see
yeah.
something's not working, you got to change it up and tweak it a little bit in order to refine it and get it to do what you want it to do. But at the end of the day, it's not all about the numbers. It's about what goes into it. It's the love. It's the passion. It's what you're doing for the community. It's about the education. It's about the connection with the fans and the people and showing them that, you know, this is something that we're doing for y'all so that people can understand, internalize, get information from it, and make something of themselves, you know, hopefully inspire somebody to do, you know, something similar. Right. And that's what I'm all about, right? I'm all about trying to show everyone what I go through, let them see that I'm a real person just like they are, like I said multiple times, so that they can see that if I can do it, they can do it.
Right.
If I can go through this, you can go through this, and you can come out amazing. Just, you know, don't let all the bad stuff, you know, take your mind off of what the real goal is. I always have this saying, dream until it's your reality. I don't know if you've seen it on some of my shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I got that saying, and it really stuck with me because of the fact that you can have a dream, right? And you can, you know, think about it all the time and all that kind of stuff, but dream until it's your reality. It always puts it into the back of your mind that, hey, I want to turn it into a reality. Right. I want to make this something that's real, and that dream can change. It doesn't have to stay, you know, every night you go to sleep, you have a different dream. Or sometimes you'll have a reoccurring dream that you think is a message that you like, you know, like, oh, okay, well, I got to do this to, you know, make this happen or something like that. Or it's something that you really want. It's always on your mind. You're daydreaming about it, all that kind of stuff. Dreams change, and that's okay. They help guide us to, you know, where we want to be in life and stuff. So that's why I always say dream until it's your reality, because you can take all that kind of stuff, do the correct actions to get yourself in that right, you know, headspace, that position, and hopefully success comes from that. And the dream always can change. But I tell you one thing that will happen with the dream, if you let it die, is it'll haunt you forever. Yeah. You'll always be thinking about it. So that's what I always tell myself. I never want to let my dreams die. I want to make them real as I can be. And, you know, hopefully, you know, with each dream, something amazing and beautiful can, you know, come from it. Yeah, man. Powerful. Yes, powerful message. I really appreciate that, man. You know, like I said, I'm just going to keep going, and who knows where I'll be next. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. See, if I'm able to help motivate y'all, and help motivate her and everybody else, my brother, I try to be the best, you know, role model for my brother as I can. Right. He's seen everything. He's seen me cry. He's seen me laugh. He's seen me mad. He's seen me, you know, everything in between. I preach what I preach to everyone else to him, and I know that if it can help him, it can help others in order to get on the right path, right? So if I can make you go home or go on your trip and feel anything differently, maybe leave you with a piece to think about or whatever, that's a piece of me that's with you forever now. Right. Or for however long you can remember it, you know. And I try to do that with everybody, you know. But then it also comes to a certain extent where I'll change it to this, right? Everybody wants to tell you how you should be and what you should do and everything else like that, and what you should be doing and all that kind of stuff. Look, I'm gonna live my life the way I want to live my life. Yep. Nobody's gonna make me do anything that I want to do. And certain people don't deserve, everybody thinks they deserve an explanation. And I had mentioned this to you earlier. Everybody thinks that I have to speak on this, I have to explain this, and I don't. That is the privacy of life that we have. Right. And I don't have to explain myself to nobody. Yeah. You know, I'm gonna make my moves whether somebody likes it or not. You know what I'm saying? And that's not gonna change anything that I'm doing today, tomorrow, next year, or 10 years from now. Right. I'm gonna live my life the way I want to live my life, and I'm gonna do what I want to do. I respect it, man. I'm gonna live my life the same way, brother. And I hope you do. I hope you do. The same way, man. I hope everybody does. It's life's too short to sit here and be under somebody else's thumb. It's too short to be worried about what anybody else is gonna say and think about you. And by the time you end up like figuring that out, hopefully it's not too late. You know what I'm saying? For anybody. Right. No, exactly. You know? So exactly. Yeah. See? A man's he's not only a street racer. He knows some shit. He got a lot of wisdom. I'm trying, man. You can't be at 24. You can't be dumb and young in this game. Yeah. And do the stuff that I'm trying to do. You gotta you know, have some, you know, knowledge with you. And I'm blessed to have a lot of the older guys around me that can spit a lot of that. Yeah, that helps a lot. And as people can see, a lot of this don't come just from me. It comes
Right.
from all my elders and everybody that has taught me all the stuff that I have learned today. So I wouldn't be Boosted Luckey or who I am without the help of the community that's around me. So
powerful. Well, guys, there you guys have it. Boosted Luckey. I would say in the building, but I'm in the building.
He's in the building. He's out here in Texas.
I'm in the building.
Man, it's a good
But
chat, man.
Yeah, this is dope, man. I honestly, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I
feel like I made a friend for life, bro. I sure do.
Nah, this
Yes,
conversation, I felt like we were having a conversation without the cameras.
Yeah, it's
Like,
because that's what I try to do with people, bro.
Yeah.
I try to just you see, when I talk to you, I look at you in your eyes.
Yeah.
I respect you as a man.
Right.
A lot of these guys out here can't do that. It's just more of like a respect thing, you know. I can look somebody in their eyes, whether they like me or not, and still smile and be the same kind of person who I am, and not have to change my mood and waste my energy on them just because they, you know, I want to have a negative, you know, disposition with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's too much work to sit here and hate someone and be bitter and all that, because you gotta, you know, be like, oh, I don't like this guy, I gotta be mad, you know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people try to start beef with me just because they're a hater and they don't like me. And I'm like, they'll go around and try to tell people all this other kind of stuff. I'm like, bro, I don't even know you. Why are you trying to like start stuff with me and make it seem like you're an op to me when you're just a hater in reality, you know? And I don't really trip off of that.
Thing.
Yeah,
that's always gonna be a thing.
Yeah, I don't trip off of it.
Yeah. No,
I know who I am. I know what I'm doing, and I know that, you know, it's gonna pay off one day.
No, I will. I'm excited to see where your journey is gonna lead you.
Yeah.
And your success. And like I said, man, when I come back to Texas, hopefully that we could link up and figure something out. Maybe do a ride along or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'll think about it, but I'll think about it. But
my bad, I didn't mean to scare you, bro.
Yeah.
That's just the goals that we got, man, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to make them happen.
That's what's up. All right, well, until next time, guys, make sure you guys are listening on all streaming platforms. I'm not sure where we're ranked at right now on Spotify and all the actual audio platforms, but we're jumping up and down from 1, 2, 3, 4. But keep supporting, keep downloading. I'm sure this episode is going to do well on the audio because people
I hope so.
Wanting to hear Boosted Luckey's story.
Yeah.
And then if you're watching, please hit that like button, because I'm probably right now,
share, and subscribe.
While you guys are watching this right now,
Yeah.
I'm probably speaking to you guys in the live chat. So just please hit that like button. It helps, get the video pushed more, so more people can see it. That way we can all grow together and get bigger guests for you guys. So yeah, make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace.